And in Washington, the president's State of the Union address. Tonight, he laid out his roadmap for the coming year, an array of actions he'd like to see taken. We do have our political reporter Rick Albin standing by. He's going to use his expertise to break down the speech for you.
First, we want to show you, though, what the president said tonight. He focused on three major topics, including inequality, immigration, and what he called a year of action.
In the coming months, let's see where else we can make progress together. Let's make this a year of action. That's what most Americans want. For all of us in this chamber to focus on their lives, their hopes, their aspirations. In the coming weeks, I will issue an executive order requiring federal contractors to pay their federally funded employees a fair wage of at least $10.10 an hour, because if you cook our troops' meals or wash their dishes, you should not have to live in poverty. Independent economists say immigration reform will grow our economy and shrink our deficits by almost $1 trillion in the next 2 decades. And for good reason. When people come here to fulfill their dreams, to study, invent, contribute to our culture, they make our country a more attractive place for businesses to locate and create jobs for everybody. So let's get immigration reform done this year.
And Rick Albin joining us now with his analysis. What was your takeaway tonight, Rick?
Well, first on immigration reform, the president may be able to claim some victory by the end of the year. Republicans may be ready to go at least partway with him on immigration reform. And tonight he did not talk a great deal about it. In fact, what he said was that he still wanted to work towards immigration reform, but that he didn't give a lot of specifics on that. I think tonight that was a nod to Republicans trying not to get in their way. They may have something to announce about that, maybe as early as later this week. So in that case, the president may be talking about a subject where he will see something in what he calls his year of action. But other than that, he didn't lay out a lot of new or bold or different plans. And he knows, as well as the Democrats and Republicans in that chamber, this is an election year. A lot of what he talked about tonight was very much about the narrative that will go forward into November. He talks about raising the minimum wage, not likely to happen, not before an election cycle at least. He also talked about some other issues that he would like to see tackled. Republicans and Democrats to agree on big issues in an election year would be highly unlikely. You heard part of that in the Republican response with Representative Kathy McMorris Rodgers.
The president talks a lot about income inequality, but the real gap we face today is one of opportunity inequality. And with this administration's policies, that gap has become far too wide. We see this gap growing every single day. We see it in our neighbors who are struggling to find jobs, a husband who's now working just part-time, a child who drops out of college because she can't afford tuition, or parents who are outliving their life savings.
As much as anything, tonight's speech will really start that conversation about Decision 2014 and Marlene Bryant. Not unlike the State of the State that we covered a couple of weeks ago, it's more about moving forward to that, not about getting a lot done this year. Now, we just heard from Representative Bill Huizenga from out on the Lakeshore. You'll hear that later in the show, and of course, we'll have much more tomorrow on Daybreak and throughout the day.